This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That little demonstration solo there, let's call it more of a demonstration than a solo, was basically me illustrating how you can move between the different pentatonic box patterns that I tend to talk about a lot in these videos. I honestly think, by the way, that the pentatonic scale is a great way of mapping out the neck on the guitar. The guitar is tuned to a pentatonic scale. The notes of the open strings are the notes of the G major pentatonic. And consequently that means that the neck is very accessible and understandable, I think, if you think of it in terms of the pentatonic patterns. The pentatonic scale, I also think of it as like basically a plain cheese and tomato, or margarita, if you will, pizza. You know, if you can get that right, then you can put whatever toppings you want onto it to get other varieties, and in the same way you get your basic pentatonic boxes sorted, you can add other notes to them and get all of your major scale patterns, all of your major scale modes, and then tweak them a little bit into things like harmonic minor and whatever else it may be necessary for you to be using, or whatever you choose to use. So that's the thrust of this exercise here. I've had a couple of requests to do a video like this about, well, yes, okay, we know the 5 pentatonic boxes, but, you know, once we get outside of the obvious ones, box number 1, it can be a little bit tricky to know what to do once you're out there. Well, this is addressing that. It's basically how to come up with licks in each of the 5 pentatonic boxes, as I was doing there. And here's some information on how I was thinking as I was playing.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, the basic gist of what we're going to be doing here is taking a lick that exists in one of the 5 pentatonic box shapes, which we'll have a look at in a moment, and we're going to be then moving that lick throughout the other 4 pentatonic box shapes. The solo that you heard earlier is in the key of C minor, so let's have a look at the C minor pentatonic. This is what I call pattern 1. I suspect most people call it pattern 1. Pattern 2, what you got to remember is how these shapes join up is that the second note in pattern 1 becomes the first note in pattern 2. So pattern 2 looks like this. second note in pattern 2 becomes the first note in pattern 3. The second note in pattern 3 becomes the first note in pattern 4. And the second note in pattern 4 becomes the first note in pattern 5. And then you're back to pattern 1 again, an octave above where you started. And that also kind of goes down as well. Pattern 1 is down here. The first note in pattern 1 is the second note in pattern 5. The first note in pattern 5 is the second note in pattern 4. And the first note in pattern 4 is the second note in pattern 3. Like that. So you can cover the entire neck just by daisy chaining those patterns together. Let's have a look at them up here. You can see what I've done in each pattern is I've numbered the notes. The thing that these patterns all have in common is that there are 2 notes on each string, and of course we have 6 strings, meaning that there are effectively 12 locations within each pattern. So you could think of pattern 1 as being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I just take a basic lick and play this, let's have a look. Like that. What I've done there is in pattern 1, I've played notes number 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7. So what I can then do is I can go to pattern 2 and play the same corresponding numbered notes. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7. I can do the same thing in pattern 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And I generate a new lick in each of the scale patterns. I'm not playing the same notes. Let's get that straight ahead here. I'm not finding the same notes in another pattern. I'm playing different notes that occupy the same positions within each pattern. So the notes that are in pattern 1, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are G, B flat, C and E flat, and in pattern 2 the notes which occupy those positions are B flat, C, E flat, F. Okay, so we're creating a corresponding lick in each pattern out of the basic sort of relative movement between the notes in the pattern. So like that, and you can hear how, you know, we're getting licks that sound related to each other, but are, you know, different licks, basically. It's a way of creating a sense of continuity. Hopefully I demonstrated that in the solo that we heard earlier. You couple this with a little bit of the phrasing ideas that we've discussed in previous videos, you know, so I could take and then extend it a little bit, repeat a little bit of it like that. The key thing is that what we're doing here is, you know, you're kind of finding something as a starting point, as a way into playing licks in the other patterns. You know, and developing the themes. So maybe move it on to some other strings. Could become like that, and you know, your ear will tell you when it's working, and sometimes you might need to finish on a slightly different note. So, instead of going 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, because of whatever chord you're playing over at that given moment, you might need to go and round it off on a different note. This all starts to feed into the chord tone stuff that we've also covered in this series of videos. But that's the basic point I wanted to talk about there. It's worth mentioning, just kind of taking notes number 4, 5, 6 and 7 from one pattern and playing the equivalent lick on notes number 4, 5, 6 and 7 in another pattern, or whatever number notes you use. One thing that is worth mentioning, of course, is that any lick that includes a string bend, you've got to be a little bit clued up on whether it's going to be a 2-fret string bend, 2 semitone, or a whole tone bend. Right there. So if I was to do that in pattern 2, see, I'm bending to a note that's not in the scale there. So what I need to do is I need to make that into a 3 semitone bend to keep it within the scale. Maybe you want to bend to a note that's out of the scale. Maybe that's going to be a note that you're going to target in an underlying chord. But if you're going to do that, you need to do it because that's what you want, rather than just bending to a wrong note and hoping that or to a note that's outside the scale and hoping that it'll fit somehow. So there you go. That is how you can take a lick from one pattern and move it into all the other patterns. And where are we? Like that. So I just took that same lick through pattern 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 there, and it gives you, as I say, a starting point from where you can get licks in the patterns that maybe aren't as familiar to you. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for the solo we kicked off with in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing the solo, that explanation you've just seen there, and the jam track I was using as well. That's all up on my Patreon page. There's the address. Link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, $3 or £3-ish a month gets you access to all of these additional bits and pieces and goodies and resources that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a heartfelt thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are down there in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you found this interesting and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? And don't, of course, forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We have a beer and a chat on a Friday. Doesn't amount to much more than that, really, but it's a great way to kick off the weekend, I think. And I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.